Hey guys, so we have a very busy astrology day today. We have a lot to talk about, a lot going on in the sky, and therefore we may be experiencing a lot on the ground as well. First of all, number one, we have the sun coming into exact square with Mars today from the signs of Virgo and Gemini, both ruled by Mercury. This can definitely be bringing up some fights, some conflicts, some clashes of the will. This is also, though, just a very distracting and sort of like disturbing energy. We may really be navigating some things disrupting our peace today or our ability to sort of stay on task and get something done. Speaking though of Mars and the sun coming into square in signs, both signs ruled by Mercury, we also have Mercury, our messenger planet today, leaving Virgo, moving into the sign of Libra. So actually, there is some type of mediation or rebalancing the scales or like fairness or justice or balance that we are likely to be seeking over this next couple weeks now that Mercury is in the sign of Libra, especially in the context of whatever may be going on with this square between the sun and Mars and Mercury signs today. But we also today, you guys, have Venus ruling the position of Uranus right now, actually coming into an exact square with Uranus, and Saturn is in opposition too. So this is actually kind of more like a T-square between Venus, Saturn, and Uranus. But Uranus, Venus, exact square today as well. We have a lot going on today, you guys. We have a lot playing out. Today may be a bit all over the place. Today may be a bit like hard to pin down, unexpected stuff. Let's get into the chart, you guys. Let's talk about all that we have going on and, what perhaps maybe we can anticipate as this energy plays out. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, August 26th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. If you guys stick with me till the end of the report, we're also going to be talking about some tarot cards that came out in correspondence with today's astrology, just to sort of tap into the field from more than one modality and get a better read on things. And I want to apologize. Yesterday in my report, it was definitely Thursday, and I definitely said it was Wednesday. And but today we're getting back on track. It's Friday. We're saying it's Friday, and also I'm not doing a weekend report as I usually do this week, you guys. I'm doing a report for today for Friday, and then I'm going to be doing my new moon video and releasing that tomorrow. So you guys are getting 2 weekend videos this weekend, just because I felt like what we have going on today energetically, and obviously the new moon needs its own video, but I felt like today also need to be addressed. I didn't want to just like disregard all the business that we have playing out today and leading up to the new moon. So the deal is you guys are getting a video today, a video tomorrow for the new moon, but I'm not going to be doing a video on Monday. So when you don't see my video come out on Monday, that's why. It's because I have to like rearrange my schedule and like do a bunch of stuff. But anyways, so we're doing an extra video for today, and we're talking specifically about Friday. And there's a lot going on. Like I said today, you guys, we have these 3 major things happening, all playing out simultaneously, but it's very interesting how this is happening, how this is coming together, because they're really all sort of feeding back to Venus in a strange way, who happens to be in that square to Uranus today, which again, like, is playing this role to help realign us with the authentic truth of like who we are and what's in our heart, and shake us out of situations that are not supportive of that process of like coming back in alignment with that truth. This energy that we are in today, ultimately, I feel like is about helping us to discover what we truly value, what we truly prioritize, what we truly feel is like worthy also of like our time, our energy, our resources, and our attention. So we're going to talk about these aspects that we have going on today, but I also kind of want to talk about them in the context of the overall themes that I feel like are being presented, because they are these individual aspects playing out, but the way that they're playing out, they're also sort of feeding into each other, like I said, in this way that is just indicating some more generalized themes to me. And one thing that really popped out between the tarot message that came out today, which of course we'll talk about at the end of the reading, at the end of the report, and also what's coming through via the Sabian symbols and just the astrology generally, is this need to be aware of there's something to do with balance that's going on right now. There is a rebalancing effort underway, but it's like it's coming about through some very unexpected or shocking or surprising or more like breakdown type scenarios. It's like things are happening in order ultimately so that some type of balance or fairness or justice can be restored. But it's like the way that it's happening is a little bit like hard to call for like what it is in this moment. But there is definitely an emphasis coming through in the energy today, in the chart today, and heading into this new moon tomorrow that has to do with balance, that has to do with we need to pay attention. I feel like a lot also of what might be going on with this square that we have between Mars and the Sun in Gemini and Virgo is also about helping us to gain an awareness of some imbalances that may be going on within our own mental energy. And this is also bringing up like the balance of sort of like power that goes on within us between our ego and between our conscious awareness, like our higher self. Like that is also sort of the balance that I feel like is being indicated by the energy and the way that this specific lineup of planets is sort of presenting itself. And we'll get into more of why as we go through this report, but themes of balance. And I feel like what we can do in this energy to try to cultivate a state of inner peace, a state of inner balance, a state of harmony, just generally in our like external surroundings and stuff as well, is going to benefit us as we move through this time. I feel like that's what universe really wants us to do right now, is sort of take the conflict or the tension or the frustration that we might be dealing with and find a way to like alleviate it through creating some type of balance. There is a rebalancing going on right now that is being activated today, and I feel like is also a major theme that is going to be carrying us through this Virgo cycle that is coming up tomorrow. Remember, today is also our very last day of our new moon in Leo cycle. The moon is in Leo as well, and Venus is also in Leo, and they are wrapped up in the aspects going on today, which we'll talk about. But we have come full circle. We've come to the end of our Leo cycle. Tomorrow we're beginning our Virgo cycle, which is ruled by Mercury, who is shifting into the sign of Libra today, in the context of this other energy. And Libra is the sign of the scales. Libra rules justice. Libra rules peace. Libra rules things being balanced, things being harmonized, like an ability to mediate or to find solutions or to just achieve some type of fairness or some type of balance between two opposing sides, between two polarized positions. And we're talking about a lot of polarization right now, because we're talking about, first of all, Mercury being on blast between the Sun and Mars, both in an exact square today. This is a 2-day square, I should mention, and it's going to be happening at 2 different degrees. Today, the square is occurring at 4 degrees of Virgo and Gemini. Tomorrow, the square will be occurring at 5 degrees of Virgo and Gemini. For our new moon energy, we're going to have an exact sun. Mars is going to be an exact square to our new moon, and that is very... it's going to be bringing us a very fiery Virgo cycle, which is not necessarily the nature of typical Virgo cycles, so it should be a bit interesting, and we will get into all of that type of stuff tomorrow. But today, we're talking about Mercury, we're talking about this square happening at 4 degrees, and I'll talk about the Sabian symbols. This is also introducing the theme of balance, where this square is happening. But with Mercury moving to the sign of Libra, like, something about like conflict resolution is a major theme that I feel like we're dealing with over the course of this energy today, building into this new moon. And this effort, this activation, this conflict resolution energy, I feel like is actually beginning to be activated today with Mercury moving to the sign of Libra and these squares coming into effect and then moving forward through this process. There could be some very disruptive forces at play today with this square going on between the Sun and between Mars, both in Mercury signs, and there could be mental disruptions. It could be very hard for us to focus, very hard for us to concentrate, very hard for us to get things done in like a linear, streamlined manner. Mercury is also in his shadow phase right now, and Mercury is going to be going retrograde soon, which is Mercury retrograde during a Virgo cycle. This is also going to, make it a little bit difficult for us to focus and concentrate and keep things going in a streamlined manner. But, we're not in that energy yet. We're just talking about the energy that we have going on today. But yeah, with the square playing out between both the Mercury sign, it's like we may be like fighting to stay on task, to stay focused. And there may just be some disruptions or some distractions or some debates or some arguments or some just like annoyances that we feel like are sort of like breathing down our neck or some type of way, or like just disrupting our ability from being able to be productive, to focus, to like stay grounded in our own thought process as well. We maybe really find ourselves like people trying to like get us all whipped up or carried away on some type of gossip or some type of rumor or some type of, I don't know, that type of stuff could be flying all over the place as well, but just is generally a disruptive energy that may be just like working against what we're trying to get done, what we're trying to accomplish. Conflicts and breakdowns today, though, are for the purpose, like I said, of this problem-solving energy, of this rebalancing effort that is ultimately playing out, that is ultimately underway, restoring justice, fairness to situations. There's also a legal aspect of things that could be tied in with this as well. There may be some like, and we'll talk more about this as we bring in Saturn's presence in a few minutes, but there just could be something to do with legal affairs in some type of a way as well, needing to be like rectified or realigned or sorted out in a different way or rebalanced to achieve a greater level of fairness that is being indicated and this energy at this point in time as well. And with Mercury moving into the sign of Libra today, for the square that we have going on, this is helping us to see things from a more balanced viewpoint, a more balanced mental perspective. This is also sort of opening our mind up a little bit and helping us to sort of, Libra is a sign that also likes to play devil's advocate about things. So it's giving us an opportunity to sort of look at things from a different perspective and maybe consider, you know, Mercury also rules like choices and decisions. We could feel this sun squaring Mars between the Mercury signs, Virgo and Gemini, could also have us feeling like very, very stuck about what to do in a situation, about what type of action to take, about what decision, what options, what choice, what opportunity, what idea, what understanding, what mindset. Like we could be facing some real internal struggles right now in regards to the choices that we want to make, or to the understanding that we want to hold, or to the perception that we feel like we are aligned with. That is another way that this square energy could be manifesting. But the Libra influence with Mercury is going to help us to see things from different sides, to consider things from different angles, to be able to sort of, you know, and this is also a good thing, because with Mars in the sign of Gemini specifically, we have a tendency to over attach to our ideas on like an ego-based level. So it's like we sort of fuse our own identity, our own personality with whatever we think about things. So if anybody ever has a problem with like our ideas or our opinions or what we think about things, it's like we can't separate that from who we are as a person. So we feel like it's a personal attack on us, and therefore like that person is our enemy, and you know, we need to go after them in like some type of way, usually with some type of verbal assault or something like that as well. But with Mercury moving into the sign of Libra, ruling the position of Mars, ruling that over attachment to ego and idea, like fusion, all of that, this actually on that mental level is giving us the ability to sort of separate that and really like see things from a different side, consider options, see things from someone else's perspective. It alleviates to some extent this attachment that we might have, or this fusion that we might have going on between our ideas and our ego, which can also help to restore a little bit of peace. Libra is also a sign about like peace, harmony. This is mental energy that is, again, conflict resolution, like working to actually restore some type of peace in the face of these disruptions, or these inner conflicts, or these actual outer conflicts with people, like in these clashes of wills, these clashes of egos that can also be represented through this energy. So helping us to see things from a new perspective for sure, and things not being fair, or whether or not things are fair, is likely to be a very huge theme today and, you know, over this next couple weeks as well, especially also in terms of these fights or these arguments or these debates or these conflicts that come up with Mercury in the sign of Libra. A lot of that could have to do with what's fair, what's not fair, also relationships, finances, like friend groups, socializing and stuff like that, ideas, information. Again, though, Libra is an air sign as well, you guys. And so Mercury moving into the sign of Libra, this also is putting an emphasis on thoughts, ideas, communication, viewpoint, and but it's from a more balanced perspective. It's from a perspective of being able to look at all the angles and wanting to find some like common ground, like wanting to mediate a situation, wanting to smooth things over. So this is a peacemaking mental energy that is coming through to in the exact moment of this conflicting mental energy that we may be dealing with. So again, like offsetting the balance, this thing about balance, trying to bring themes of balance to our attention. And again, whether or not things are fair, whether or not things are just, whether or not things are balanced, and the impact that's having on our ability to act, on our ability to achieve some type of like inner peace and balance again, and like sort of like stabilize things in our life or in our relationships or in our financial situations. Like this is what is coming up in this energy the next couple days, and also most likely over this new moon and Virgo cycle that we have playing out as well. Energy though today is also driving us to break away from anything we feel like is no longer worth it. So here's the thing, right? We have this big square playing out in the sky between Mercury and the sun, or I mean between Mars and the sun in Mercury's signs. So that is putting a major highlight, right, on the planet Mercury, because Mercury is ruling the conflict that is going on between these two planets. This is a mental conflict, or it has to do with information, or it has to do with communication or conversation or messages or siblings or pairs or partnerships, all the Mercury related themes, or, you know, even could have to do with like business transactions and stuff like that, or short distance travel. We want to be careful in traffic as well with this square that's playing out today. But the thing is, Mercury, like we've been talking about, for this exact moment, synchronistically, is moving into the sign of Libra. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is not just doing nothing today. Venus is not just laying back on her lounge chair, having her toenails painted and sipping a lemonade today. Venus is in an exact to the degree square with Uranus today, who just stationed retrograde in the sky like 2 days ago, started moving backwards yesterday, is at a very powerful amplified level of influence right now. Venus is an exact square to that energy. Not only that, Uranus, being in that power position right now, is in Taurus, the other sign that is ruled by Venus. And not only that, like I said in my intro, Venus is also in a 2-degree orb opposition to Saturn. Uranus is also in a 2-degree orb square to Saturn. So Venus is very wrapped up in the activity that is playing out today as well. Venus in a square to Uranus, this is about needing a level of excitement and exhilaration and freedom and just a desire to break away from things that we don't feel like are bringing us pleasure, essentially, or we don't feel like are truly aligned with our desires, or we don't feel like are like making us happy, wanting us to, and we're talking about Uranus in the sign of Taurus, right? This is about rediscovering authentic value, rediscovering authentic potential, rediscovering authentic worth. With Venus ruling the position of Uranus, also the North and the South node are there as well. So honestly, like if we're really going to call it what it is, we're talking about a grand cross in the sky between the North and the South node, Uranus, and Venus opposition Saturn. The North and the South node are not an exact conjunction. Saturn is not an exact opposition and square. Venus and Uranus are. So that's why I'm specifically talking about these two planets. But within 2 degrees, you know, we have the North and the South nodes right there as well, and also Saturn. So really, you know, if we within a 3-degree orb, you know, within a 3-degree orb as well. So honestly, like it really is a grand cross that we have going on between destiny and karma, the great rectifier, the lord of karma, the lord of time, and also Venus, what we want, what we desire. And actually the moon is there today as well. It has moved a little bit beyond, but it's still in the sign of Leo. So the true desires of our heart and our soul, what truly brings us to life on the like deepest levels of our heart and our soul, happening in the sign of Leo. Those are the themes that Venus is playing with today on the outskirts of whatever is happening in this Mars square Sun energy in the sign of Mercury, having just moved into Libra, throwing it to Venus. Venus is there with all of this power today as well. And with the aspects that Venus is making, this is also like divine alignments that are bringing us to a point where we have this like compulsive almost urge to break ourselves away from or detach ourselves from that which we don't find a worthy use of our time and our energy and our resources anymore, or we no longer find valuable, or we feel like is not supportive or recognizing of our own value, or that is just not filling us up, that is just not bringing us to life, that is not giving us that joy and pleasure that we desire. And it's helping us also to break these karmic loops. There's also a karmic rectification that is playing out in this as well, as a result of the presence of the South Node ruling karma and also Saturn ruling karma. We are realizing in this energy, on the side of whatever mental conflict is playing out, what we value and what we don't, and what we no longer desire to create or put our energy into, which could be bringing up some very sudden endings, or like some very unexpected breakdowns or breakaways from past attachments or past commitments. I will tell you guys, this is commitment, like breaking energy. So don't be totally surprised today, over this next couple days, or perhaps even, moving throughout this Virgo cycle, if things that you thought you were able to rely on, or commitments that felt solid or you thought you had in place, you come to find out are not what you thought they were. And if this type of breakdown does happen, trust me, in this energy, it's for the best. And it's because it was not ultimately in alignment with what was going to support your process of growth and truly activating your destiny, in alignment, again, with what really feeds your heart and soul. And that's where we're going in this energy. We are all sort of being brought back to life through a process of deconstructing the facets of our life that are not in support of our highest potential and of that like destiny activating energy, because we can't activate our destiny if we are in life situations that are not supportive of our ability to do that. So that's a lot about what is going on in the energy as it's playing out and rebalancing things as these transits go on as well. Working to rebalance the relationship as well. Venus, very, very highlighted, Mercury in Libra, between our ego, Mars, and our conscious awareness. That's what this conflict resolution is actually about. It's like we may be fighting some battles within ourselves right now based on patterns of the past and like ego attachments and ways that we have previously been, but simultaneously we're trying to grow, we're trying to heal, we're trying to go in this new direction, we're trying to plan a different future. And this conflict that is going on between, the pull back, the pull from our ego, the pull from our past selves, the pull from our past attachments, the pull from our karmic lessons, but simultaneously this like soul growth and soul evolution and healing that we're going on as well, that is helping us to gain this greater level of conscious awareness. And maybe it's causing these conflicts within us, or maybe it's causing these conflicts within our family or within our friends groups as well. Mercury moving into the sign of Libra, this is all about friends, this is all about socializing, this is all about like our social graces and stuff like that. Like it may be making it difficult for us to relate to people the same way that we used to, or it could just be bringing up conflict or tension in various ways as a result of some type of inner battle or some type of tension that may be going on within us between our ego and the more conscious understandings about things, the wisdom that we are gaining. Essentially, this is like, not being unconsciousness essentially versus consciousness. This is the subconscious programming versus the conscious clarity, the conscious awareness, and the way that it's manifesting and creating in our lives. And it also, again, is representing this more disruptive force, on another hand, that may be sort of just like preventing us from being able to focus or concentrate or do stuff the way we want to, but it is trying to force us to a place of needing to rebalance ourselves in one way or another. And this conflict resolution energy definitely coming through, helping us to gain a level of mental mastery over our lower ego instincts and evolve our state of conscious awareness. I feel like ultimately that is what the conflicts coming up during this period of time are sort of pushing for. Also, like I said, we do have Saturn playing into this mix today. Saturn limits, represses, holds back because it wants actually us to like perfect ourselves. It wants us to come to the state of self-mastery, but it only happens through very, like a lot of work. Saturn requires work and self-discipline, and that's something else that is sort of being thrown in and that we are being asked to do in the midst of all of this. But it's creating this tension and this difficulty. And the Saturn square Uranus themes that we've been dealing with over this past like almost 2 years are definitely coming up again today and will be present for this new moon tomorrow as well. Saturn square Uranus, this is about breaking down the structures of the past that have kept us from recognizing the truth of our potential and have been like binding us to the previous paradigm from which we are transcending out of, emerging out of at this point in time now. So that energy is also about breaking down status quos, breaking down structures, breaking down previously long-standing existing foundations, and also power and control dynamics, and also helping us to gain a greater sense of self-mastery over our own potential and over our own abilities and come back into alignment with the truth of our authenticity so that we can move to lay the foundations, essentially. That's what this is doing. Like Saturn and square to Uranus, this conflict, this breakdown, this square energy that's coming up. But again, just like the square we're talking about now, like the resolution, what it's going to, what the purpose of it is to help us actually come to a place of greater wisdom, greater self-mastery, greater self-discipline, greater ability to, and having broken through karmic cycles and stuff like that so that we can really structure and lay foundations for this new world, this age of Aquarius ruled by Uranus that we are moving into now. Actually, Saturn and Uranus are both rulers of Aquarius. Saturn is the ancient ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is the modern ruler of Aquarius. And this transit has definitely been ultimately about helping us come to a point where we can begin to lay the foundations and structure this new world, this new paradigm, this new age that we are transitioning into now. And that energy is again coming up today in this energy, coming up for our new moon and Virgo cycle because Saturn is retrograding and has come back within a couple degrees of Uranus squaring to Uranus, and Venus is in opposition again. So, and this is happening in fixed signs. So this, like I said, actually is making a T-square, but if we bring the north and the south nodes to it as well, this is actually like this grand cross that has a lot to do with this karmic detox that is underway to help us rediscover the truth of who we are and who we were always meant to be and activate our original potential so that we can turn on our light and contribute like our personal piece of the puzzle to the overall good so that this whole picture can come together. And it's like, if we don't do that, if we don't knock over our domino, then like everything that was supposed to come into fruition as a result of our personal activation of our own potential doesn't get to happen. And the universe always wants to expand and always wants to grow. And when we're not doing that, this is the great rectification period. The age of Aquarius, Saturn square Uranus, things are being put back on track. Saturn rules karma and the law. And like I said earlier, this could actually be like bringing in some serious like actual legal action that might be going on right now on the world stage, like on a macrocosm level for sure, with some unexpected outcomes, or personally, or like in our own personal life, if there's like various legal matters, especially that maybe have been connected to things happening over the past couple years, there should be actually maybe some unexpected outcomes that restore balance in some type of a way, restore some type of fairness. Legal situations generally may be coming to a head and being adjusted or rebalanced in some way to make things have a more fair result, a more fair outcome. But again, a very strong karmic influence going on here as well, wrapped up in this as well. So it'll be, interesting to see how things along those lines play out, because that is also something that is indicated when we have Saturn going on and this Libra energy as well, and Venus ruling Libra wrapped up in it. And also today, like I said, we do have the moon in the sign of Leo going to be forming the opposition to Saturn as well. And just the sense of karma and discipline and judgment and wisdom gained through experience, like maybe things that we are sort of reflecting on in the midst of this. But with Venus squaring Uranus, you guys, like this is a breakaway energy. This is energy that wants to like cut ties with anything that we feel like is restricting our ability to experience pleasure, enjoyment, and like with Venus and the moon together in Leo, like what truly makes us feel alive? Like any dead weight, like we're cutting free from that. Like anything that we don't feel like is worthy of our time and attention anymore, like we're going in another direction. And again, this is Taurus. This is earth signs. This is commitments. in Leo. This is fixed. This is like, we may be definitely, there may be some breakdowns in commitments for sure that might be happening in this energy, but we need to keep in mind that if it's happening for the best. Could be ultimately, like, not going to say it's not, could be a very frustrating day that makes us sort of want to say, like, screw it and just like run away from our responsibilities, run away from our duties, our obligations, but we know we can't. On the same hand, like, yeah, we might want to do that, but we also know we can't. And that's another reason why we might be having these inner conflicts going on, or just this tension or this frustration or these fights. Super, super busy day overall, though. Lots of information, lots of conversations, lots of communication, perhaps like travel, things going back and forth, lots of meetings, lots of messages, lots of emails, lots of texts, lots of phone calls, lots of people wanting our attention. So I'm saying, like, we personally might just really want to get focused on the task at hand, and we may have something that we need to complete, that we need to get done, that we need to focus on, that we need to pay attention to, but it's like something just like knocking on our window like constantly. It's like the phone always going off, or the text, or someone urgently needing our attention, or like I was saying yesterday, like our children are probably like not getting along the absolute best this week, or there just might be like noisy, or like construction going on, or just like this, that, and the other that really are just disrupting our peace in some type of way. Also with Mercury moving into the sign of Libra. And even though, like I said, even though the sun is in Virgo right now, and this is generally a more like introverted energy, we're in a very, very social energy now that we have Mercury moving into Libra today. It's also sort of like a look at me energy. Like, people may be exhibiting some attention-seeking behaviors for sure in this energy, especially if they feel like they're not being heard, or if they're like needing to project. There could be some kind of like outrageous displays of emotion, or of just like people putting themselves on display today, really just seeking out attention, wanting to be seen, wanting to be heard, wanting to be understood in one way, wanting to be related to as well, with Mercury moving into the sign of Libra. Also, perhaps some very strange, unusual, or just generally bizarre things could be happening within relationships, within partnerships, within friend groups, within financial situations. Lots of internalized irritation, fights, arguments, but ultimately our mind is geared towards conflict resolution, like I said. So it could be a bit of a strange day. Uranus energy can be a little bit like eccentric, a little bit oddball, a little bit weird, a little bit bizarre. Like, things are not likely to be going according to plan, you guys, with Mercury ruling this square between the sun and Mars coming into Libra today, ruled by Venus in the square to Uranus. Like, things are definitely likely to be a bit off the wall, like not going according to plan, and we really need to just be able to go with the flow of things. The more open we can be right now to just going with the flow and accepting things how they are, and not trying to fight and resist against things, and not trying to control situations as well, which also could be a tendency in this, with Saturn being so activated in this. Like, we really may be like trying to like control or overpower things because we feel very out of control. And I'm telling you, that's probably going to work against you in this energy. That's not the technique. That's not the way to go about it. What we really want to do is surrender to the changes that are happening now, open ourselves up to be able to see things from a different perspective, allow ourselves the opportunity to maybe be wrong about something. Like, it's okay. Like, maybe we didn't have all the information. Maybe we didn't have a proper understanding. We've had Mercury, Neptune going on. Maybe we weren't seeing things clearly. And, you know, we made some wrong judgments, and we said something that we, you know, didn't really mean. It's okay. Like, we can, we can like be all right with that energy. It's okay to be wrong. Like, we don't have to be right about everything, but we do need to be able to see things from a greater understanding so that we can come to some type of resolution in whatever situation is not working out for us at this point in time. Because the energy is working to bring things actually back together, to find a compromise, to, even in terms of like polarities and oppositions and stuff, to find a way to like mediate a situation, to smooth things over. Mediation. You may find yourself actually acting as a mediator role, especially if you have, honestly, like a lot of Gemini energy, you may find yourself, like if you're, or not Gemini energy, sorry, a lot of Mercury energy, like if you're a Virgo or Gemini ascendant, or you have stelliums or moons in Virgo or Gemini, you may find yourself playing a mediator role for a lot of these conflicts that may be popping off like in your life or in your experience at this point in time as well. Looking for a compromise, finding a solution though that moves things forward. This is about forward movement. We're talking about Uranus in a conjunction to the North Node. This is the path ahead. This is destiny. This is where we're going. This is the trajectory that we're moving towards. Things are being aligned right now and actually unstuck in a way that will move us forward according to a trajectory that is conducive to that destiny activating energy. Mars and the sun in the square in Mercury signs. Mercury rules movement, Mercury rules travel. This is some stuck energy. But again, the whole aspect essentially is ruled by Venus, because Mercury is moving into Libra and Venus is in the square to Uranus. So again, this, whatever we are working to resolve right now, is for the purpose of moving us forward along a trajectory that is helping us to detach from where we've been surrendering our power in the past, or where we haven't been recognizing the truth of our value, the truth of our potential, the truth of the resources and the creative ability that we hold within us, and the ability to translate that into actually some type of material like stability or abundance or comfort in our physical world. This is what we are awakening to with this process, and this is why, you know, these conflicts are likely happening in this energy. But conflict resolution ultimately is the name of the game, you guys, and we are going to be going to a greater state of wherever we land after this is going to make us much happier. In terms of the Sabian symbols we have playing out today, it's so interesting talking about this balancing, talking about this conflict resolution, talking about bringing things to a state of just like harmony. The position of the sun today, 4 degrees of Virgo, the Sabian symbol of that degree is black and white children playing together happily. Again, this is talking about this just harmony and this peace and this balance that may be going on. But we also have the earth today at 4 degrees of Pisces, heavy traffic on a narrow isthmus linking 2 seaside resorts. So then again, we're talking about the same thing. We're talking about these 2 seaside resorts, this heavy traffic, this busy energy, this frustration, like this like irritation, this annoyance of having to get there. But it's about like connecting these 2 oppositions, like connecting the 2 sides, like balancing the 2 sides. And that sort of is, it's like, that sort of is like the bridge that this Mercury Libra energy is like creating, this like conflict resolution, like mediation energy that is coming through the bridge between these 2 sides. Like with the square in Mercury signs, like yes, it's annoying, yes, it's tense, yes, it's frustrating, yes, it's like very like busy and slow, you know, perhaps, but it is linking, it is creating this link, which is helping to restore some type of balance going on between these 2 sides. We also have Mercury moving to 1 degree of Libra today. That Sabian symbol is a butterfly made perfect by a dart through it. So to me, this is talking sort of about, well, preservation, but also again, symmetry, balance, transformation, metamorphosis. So also talking about this mental metamorphosis. Again, this is Libra, air energy, butterfly, air element. This is talking about ideas. This is talking about information. This is talking about our mindset and our understanding of things, our mental space generally. Symmetry, balance being created within our mental space that is also being preserved in some type of way, like frozen in time. Like this is the trajectory of the future. This is where we're going. This is where it's heading. This is what's going to stick moving into the future. We have Venus herself today, 19 degrees of Leo in the exact square to Uranus, 19 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a houseboat party. So we're going on a trip in the water, and it's actually something that we should be celebrating regardless of how it might feel right now. And Uranus at 19 Taurus for that square today, a new continent is rising from the ocean. So we're actually like going on a trip towards this new world that we're creating for ourselves right now. We are breaking free. We are breaking away from the past. We are headed towards this brand new world on this houseboat party. It's really something that we should actually be looking forward to. And it's actually, at the end of the day, quite a celebratory process, despite, you know, the way that we may be viewing it in this moment as things are playing out. And then Mars in the square today with the sun, 4 degrees of Gemini. Holly and mistletoe reawaken old memories of Christmas. And I was talking about this degree in my report yesterday. I feel like this degree is, again, like emphasizing these Uranus Taurus themes, like about reawakening us to our original potential, the gifts, the talents that we hold inside of us, and bringing us to a point where we're starting to gain sort of a motivation and inspiration and a courage to begin unwrapping them and sort of like playing in our own potential. I feel like this degree is representing. So the balance of things very much being represented symbolically today, things that maybe seem very different being connected, being balanced, us finding a resolution, us finding a balance, us finding a way of connecting things. It may not be like the most streamlined, easy thing to do, but that is ultimately where this seems to be going. Now let's talk about the tarot for a minute today, you guys. We had a few cards coming out of the deck that we need to talk about, and these themes of balance once again being very much emphasized. The first card that we had coming out actually was the Two of Pentacles. This clearly is a card about balancing things, about balancing choices, about balancing decisions, about balancing resources, but this is also the Pentacles. This is the earth energy. This is that Virgo energy as well. This is talking about, could also be like our resources or what's fair and what's not fair. Like this is talking though about just, could also represent like I was saying, like this square could also be representing not being sure what to do, feeling like we can't make a decision, feeling like we're stuck in some type of way. But this is definitely talking about things being juggled or balanced right now. The next card that we have coming out is the Death card, followed by the Chariot in reverse. So, and then after that, we had Temperance, you guys, which look, this is another card about balancing, healing, balancing, tempering, restoring justice, restoring peace, restoring balance, and healing through that process. So we have two cards talking about balancing things or a need to balance things, and then in the middle we have the Death card and we have the Chariot in reverse. Now the Death card, this is obviously about a transformation. This is about a metamorphosis. This is about endings and beginnings. This is about a transitional phase, a transitional process. The Chariot, this is about our willpower. This is about our motivation. This is about our determination to move forward towards something in a direction that we really like love and that we really care about. This is it. Also, the Chariot also is associated with the Cancer energy. So this could also have to do with things regarding the home, regarding the family. But what this is really talking to me about with the Chariot being in reverse is a transition, or essentially the end, the death of our stagnancy, okay? The death of our of any type of lack of determination to like move forward in a direction, to take an action. Cancer, this is cardinal water. This is cardinal signs are the action-oriented signs. It's about making things happen. It's about taking some type of action. Cancer, this is an emotional energy. This is like some type of, this is like the end of, it's a detachment, you guys, from emotions that have been keeping us locked in place. And that is also what this Venus T or Grand Cross, when we bring in the nodes and Saturn, is also doing. Venus and the moon also in square to Uranus in the north node, square to the south node, opposite Saturn. This is us being filled with some type of passion or some type of self-love or some type of recognition of the value or the worth that we hold within us that no longer makes us able to tolerate our past constraints. And therefore we are breaking out of cycles that we used to accept out of a lack of understanding of the value that we hold within, or a lack of self-love, or a lack of like recognition of our own potential. But we're discovering that now, and as a result of that, it's ending this emotional, like what's been holding us back, like this emotional bondage that we've been in. And with the Cancer archetype, this could have to do with our early childhood programming as well, or just the type of family situations that we came from, making us feel, you know, like we couldn't pursue our dreams, or like we couldn't live life in a way that aligns with like who we truly feel that we are, or something in some type of situation. But Death and the Chariot in reverse, this to me is very much talking about the end of any type of emotional energy that has been preventing us from taking action, from aligning with our motivation, from aligning with our willpower, from moving forward in a more determined way towards our goals and the opportunities. I mean, and then on the back of the deck, we have the Page of Pentacles. So it's like we go from this state of juggling to coming to this point of this like emotional ending in some type of a way and being able to move forward. And this is also rebalancing things for us, but in a much more evolved way. This Two of Pentacles, this is a very like, you know, not the most evolved decision-making energy. Okay, we're juggling things, we're juggling choices, but we don't necessarily like have the perspective of Temperance, which is like, this is like the angel with like the crown back here, the spiritual energy coming through that's like healing and rebalancing things, like the healing waters of the divine and stuff that are like cleansing and rebalancing and restoring peace and harmony. Like this is a much more evolved relationship to that balance, that those choices, those problems, those issues, like what we've been trying to solve and figure out. And so it's like whatever ending is coming in terms of what has been holding us back from pursuing and moving forward in a new direction is actually bringing us to this much more evolved perspective from which we can make the choice or decision to move forward. And then the card on the back of the deck coming out, the Page of Pentacles. This card has been coming out so much lately. And whenever I see the Page of Pentacles, especially right now in the context of where we're at in these grand cycles of time and what's being activated and the energy that is being sort of stirred up in all of us, it's really about the discovery of the potential that we hold inside of us. And I feel like that's what this Page of Pentacles energy is about. It's like this youthful energy who is discovered, like he's like, oh my gosh, like look at what I have, look at my resources, look at what I can create with. I'm almost in awe over all of the potential and everything that I could do with this coin that I'm holding in my hands, which is really a metaphor for, you know, what I'm holding inside of me, what I have at my fingertips based on the value that I'm recognizing that I hold within. This is this Page of Pentacles energy. And actually under that then we have the Six of Pentacles, you guys, which look, this guy's also holding the scales. This is about reciprocity. This is about rebalancing things. This is about what hasn't been fair and power differentials and what's been out of balance. This Page of Pentacles, this new opportunity to rebalance things. Then we have the Seven of Swords in a reverse in a way that helps us to take back our power, ends the deception, ends the manipulation, ends our lack of understanding of, finally, to end the reading, we have the Empress. Our ability to align with our state of like personal self-empowerment and our ability to attract, our ability to create, our ability to receive, and our ability to experience that which truly brings us a sense of soul fulfillment, which in this 222 year, you guys, like I always say, is what universe is trying to do, is what's trying to bring us towards. And this is also that Venus energy as well, which is what everything is coming back to today. And the Seven of Swords in reverse, we are freeing our inner, our inner Empress or Emperor to be able to like really stand in the sun and grow along our path to activate our destiny. Like I always say, I don't know why I look for so many different types of words to describe the same themes that I always say. But anyways, that's what this is about. That's where this is going. Ultimately, this conflict resolution, temperance, tempering something out, Mercury and Libra, this conflict resolution energy. Yes, yeah, we may be in some conflict right now. Mars square the sun, like in Mercury signs. We may be juggling, we may be conflicting, we may be debating, we may be going back and forth, we may be arguing, but there is some type of ending to things that we've been emotionally attached to that have been keeping us out of our state of personal willpower moving forward. That's being healed, resolved, and tempered. We're going to rediscover the opportunities that we hold within us. This is really like, we're not going to accept less anymore. Like that's the other thing. Like once we do that process, we're no longer going to accept less. We are not going to be deceived. We're not going to be manipulated. We're not going to be taken from. We're not going to be like drained on an energetic level or fed off of, because we are going to be aligned with our authentic truth, our authentic personal creative self-expression, the resources, the value that we hold inside of us, and our knowledge of how to use that to stand in the truth of our power in our experience. So that's what we got going on, you guys, in terms of the tarot today, as this energy is coming out for the astrology as well. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. I'm sorry I've been running so long this week, you guys. This is, I don't try to do this and I don't know how it happens, but I guess there's just a lot to say in the energy as it's playing out this week. Let's see what wants to come out for our final message from God, Spirit, Universe. What advice? We got 2 cards coming out. They say, don't envy another, and you can only change yourself. So yes, you guys, especially with the square between the Mercury signs, this is very good advice. Don't envy another. Let your conduct be without covetousness. Hebrews 13:5. Remember, you cannot have that which belongs to another. Instead, wish for something very much like what the other has, but never the very thing. For the time being, be content with what you have. Perhaps things are not as they appear. And this is like some real true wisdom. If we feel like, and that is something that could be coming up with Mars and Gemini. This can bring feelings of jealousy. It is the sign of the twins. It is like weighing what we have versus what somebody else has. Like if there are feelings of this jealousy that come up, know that, you know, if that is something that you're drawn to, it's probably because that is something that's in alignment with you. However, if it is yours, it will come to you. You can't lose it. If it's meant for you, you absolutely cannot lose it. If it is not meant for you, you don't want it. Exactly like this card says, wish for something very much like it, but never the very thing, because universe will bring you what is meant for you. And if that is something that is aligning with you and resonating with you, you are likely to receive that, but it's not going to be that. It's probably going to be a little bit even better. So that is some really good advice in this energy. Also, it says you can only change yourself. Let your light so shine before men that they may see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Be an example for others. You cannot change others' behaviors any other way except to show by good example what sort of things a good life can bring one. Forgive them for their failures, forgive them for their words, love them, and by your example, show them the way. This is the only way except to pray for them and to know to follow your example. So you guys, as we are going through this energy today and also moving into the new moon tomorrow, we are not being envious of others. We are trusting that the divine is bringing us the true match for us. And we are understanding that it's our time to lead by example. And we are not trying to control. We are not trying to force. We are not trying to overpower anything that's going on with other people, especially in terms of what they're thinking, what they're saying, what they're understanding. This is not the time to be forcing our viewpoints on other people, you guys. It's just not the time for that. This is the time for gaining some really important awareness into our own selves, into our own understandings about things, into our own wants, wishes, and desires. But this is not the time for asserting our viewpoints onto others or trying to control what others think, especially. That's just not going to go well for us in this energy. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. Message from the stars, message from the cards. I hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would like this kind of content, be interested in this too. Leave me comments, you guys. I absolutely love your comments. I love your feedback. I am so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you guys so much for being here. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, a website, and some other social media stuff. Those are in my description box below. And come back with me tomorrow, you guys. Bonus video, new moon in Virgo coming this weekend. Yeah. Exact square to Mars. It's going to be a big one. Got a lot to talk about. You guys don't want to miss it. I'll be here. You should be here too. And until then, you guys, have a beautiful day, and I'll see you later. Bye.